What's up, mortals? It is Chara zor-el here with a new video for you. Welcome to part 6 of What If Izuku Was a Stand User. I just wanted to greet you guys by saying sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. And for a lot of you asking in the comments, is this an evolving stand? You'll get that answer in this video. So look forward to that. Yoroshiku ne? So we begin. After the smoke cleared from the explosion Bakugo unleashed on the hero team, the observation room found Midoriya curled up in a large room with concrete pillars around for cover, but he could barely get up. The force of the blast shot him through a wall, with chunks of the floor flying into his abdominal area, badly bruising his ribs. To make matters worse, Aoyama entered the room, with Kacchan guaranteed to join him soon. However, it wasn't all bad. He spotted the bomb roughly 15 meters away. He just had to think of a way to get to it while also dealing with what would be both members of the villain team. Midoriya, are you alright? That blast looked most painful. The sparkling student spoke with concern in his tone. Bakugo hopped through the hole in the wall Izuku was put through, laughing maniacally for the destructive power he inflicted from his gauntlet. I never got a chance to test these bad boys till now. They're amazing. Bakugo, what was that just now? Aoyama said with irritation in his voice. Are you trying to down the whole building around us? You could have killed someone. Don't quit your whining. I wasn't trying to kill them. Besides, everyone's fine. Well, he won't be after I'm done with him. Izuku knew he was in a potential checkmate situation. He was too hurt to run or fight effectively. The only chance he thought of to get out of this was to use his personal Jesus on the villain team. The stand's cannon was already loaded and ready to fire, but he had only one shot. He had to think about this. If he used his stand on one of the villain members, the other was going to intervene, which means he had to carefully decide which of the two would cause him the most resistance and pacify them. If he shot Aoyama, he could easily get him out of the fight and not have to worry about his laser, but then he would be defenseless against Bakugo. As for option B, shooting Kacchan seemed like the obvious choice, since he was easily the bigger threat of the two. But he knows Midoriya has some kind of mind-altering power at his disposal, meaning there's a chance he'd have his defenses up and prevent Midoriya from successfully using his stand a second time. What are you gonna do, Deku? Kacchan said as he readied himself to attack the defenseless team. Your teammate's not around to back you up anymore, and you're outnumbered. It's over! In response, Midoriya slowly stood up, looked at the blonde's red eyes with courage, clenched his fist, and muttered, Not yet. He chose his target and ordered his stand to attack. Personal Jesus! Shoot Bakugo! Now! Bakugo froze in place, unaware of what he was going to do. He was going to get a repeat of what happened to him, but something went wrong. Before it could attack, Personal Jesus dropped to the ground like a sack of potatoes. It quickly turned brown, as if it made some kind of a cocoon around its body. What the heck? Izuku questioned himself as he stared at his spectral companion on the ground. Bakugo and Aoyama had no clue what was happening. Something's wrong with my Personal Jesus. After several seconds, Midoriya pieced together what happened, as his ghostly companion appeared to have died in the middle of the fight, as its legs and tail curled up into itself, like a spider going through rigor mortis. No, Personal Jesus! No! Izuku grabbed the husk his stand made around itself to wake it up or get it to move, but nothing happened. He was shocked and devastated. Personal Jesus was Izuku's power, the very thing that was going to ensure him a future as a pro hero, now laid before him in a motionless husk. And just as he began his start at UA High, Izuku felt everything come crashing down and didn't know what to do. For the first time in almost a year, Izuku was back to being powerless as he cried and begged for his stand to come back to him. Bakugo and Aoyama watched Izuku's breakdown, confused about what to think about the situation. Even those in the observation room didn't know what to say. What's the kid doing? The yellow-suited Sato said, watching Midoriya's meltdown. I know he's in a rough spot, but he doesn't have to cry over this. He's acting like something died right in front of him. Seriously, I mean, I know he's got no chance of winning at this point, but the fact that he's crying over it, that's pretty sad, pink-skinned Ashido commented.
No, something's wrong.
The icy hot student said as he analyzed the situation.
You guys didn't see it? A couple seconds ago, he got back on his feet as if he was ready to take Bakugo and Aoyama at once. But next, he's in a nervous breakdown. He either can't handle the stress, or perhaps Something went wrong with his quirk.
What even is his quirk? Sato asked the group. I've watched this entire fight since the start and I still can't make out what it is. No clues or nothing. Uraraka was listening to the banter between the other students about the situation. It began worrying about the brunette, hoping he'd make a quick comeback.
Come on, Deku. Please don't give up.
She softly pleaded in her head.
He's a hero that saved me. This is your last chance.
Back at the building, Aoyama stared at the wounded, crying Midoriya and realized that it was over. Midoriya was so saddened by what happened, he didn't even notice the light changes beginning to appear for Personal Jesus' cocoon. Bakugo, look at him. He's crying, in pain, and we have him cornered. The game's over, Aoyama observed. Let's just capture him with the tape and be done with this. Yes? Bakugo? Katsuki didn't listen to his teammate. The only thing on his mind was how weak and vulnerable Midoriya was, laying on the ground, crying. In his eyes, he saw the same Deku he knew all those years ago as a young child. This kid was telling me that he changed, Bakugo said to Aoyama while staring at the solo hero team member. Thinks he's on my level? Look at him! He's the same pathetic nerd he's been all these years, and he thinks he could beat me and become a hero? Deku needs a serious reality check! Right now! Within a split second, Bakugo launched himself towards Midoriya and started repeatedly blasting him with his explosion quirk, beating him and knocking him all over the room with his explosion quirk as Izuku screamed in pain, unable to fight back as Bakugo's speed and power far surpassed Midoriya's. Don't you ever say that you're better than me, Deku! Quirk or not, you're just a bug I could crush without any effort! Bakugo repeatedly beat on him and blasted him with his quirk, all while he was still teary-eyed at the loss of his stand. This went on until those in the observation room began to get upset and uncomfortable. Eventually, the kind-hearted Tsuyu Asui spoke up about what everyone was seeing. All Might, this fight's getting hard to watch. Ribbit, the villain team have the advantage and Midoriya's barely putting up a fight. Would it be best at this point to call the fight for the villain team? All Might felt she was right. The villains had the edge, and Midoriya was showing little signs of turning the tide, but he wasn't ready to call it just yet. Despite Bakugo's ruthlessness, he wasn't trying to kill him, but at the same time, he didn't want his injuries to be too severe. He decided to give Midoriya one last chance in the form of a few more seconds to change the tide, or he'd call the fight for the villain team. As the green-suited Izuku took another blast, he tumbled on the ground towards the husk of what was his stand. He laid his jade-colored eyes onto the stand's cocooned body and realized something was seriously off about the shell it made around itself, even more so than how it looked a minute ago. The brown shell Personal Jesus encased itself with began to puff up like bread dough in an oven and changed colors to an orange-like pigmentation. The shell also became transparent, as if he could see what was on the inside. Midoriya couldn't make it out, but there was something black moving inside the shell. It looked as if an alien parasite was going through a rapid state of metamorphosis. Kachan, who was incapable of seeing what was happening, walked up to the bruised Midoriya and leaned over his body with a tenacious stare. Had enough, Deku? Kachan asked, looming over the beaten team. You get the point yet? Or do I have to continue beating you? We've got about 4 minutes left on this test. I can do a lot to you in that time. Bakugo, stop this! Aoyama asserted. We could capture him with the tape right now and end this. Look at him. He can barely get up for Pete's sake. What's the point of letting him continue this way? Shut it, Frenchie! Bakugo yelled. I'm done with this nerd when I say I'm done! He turned his attention to the battered Midoriya, whose attention was elsewhere and growing with fear by the second. So how about it, Deku? Ready to cry, uncle? Midoriya didn't respond to him. He was instead terrorized by the orange pulsating chrysalis that was growing in size in the room. Hey! What are you looking at, nerd? Kachan looked in the direction Izuku was facing, but didn't see anything out of the ordinary. At this point, he was getting annoyed. Deku! I asked you a question! What are you looking at that's making you scared like that? I'm the only one here you should be afraid of! Just then, something popped out of the orange pulsating blob. It appeared to be a mysterious, dark-colored organism surrounded by a faint steam. He couldn't make out any details, but nevertheless, he screamed out loud at what he laid his eyes on and began crawling away. At this point, Kachan reached a breaking point. What the hell is wrong with you, you damn loser? I knew you were weak and pathetic, but now you're batshit crazy too? Whatever, screw this. I'm ending this fight. Now! Bakugo charged Midoriya for another explosive strike. Bakugo, that's enough. Stop now! All Might said through the speakers. He tried to stop the fight for the villain team, but Kachan didn't listen. He swung an explosive haymaker towards Midoriya, which made the boy cover his face as he felt the hit would knock him unconscious. But instead, he heard some kind of metal clanging sound. He peeked at what happened to see that Bakugo's punch was blocked by the creature that appeared from the chrysalis. The being had a sea green glow radiating around its body at a similar color scheme to his personal Jesus. It also had a shield on its left arm, which he used to block Bakugo's blow. What the hell? Bakugo muttered, something's pushing back on my punch. Is this the quirk you've been saving for me? What is this? Some kind of force field power? Bakugo began to ready an explosive blast, but not before the creature shouted out, Naruto! And gave the red-eyed blonde a gunshot-sounding uppercut, knocking him onto his back, stunning both Midoriya and Aoyama as they both saw the short-tempered teen knocked to the ground. They weren't the only ones. The other students in the observation room also gave their commentary on the fight. Whoa! Did you see what happened to Bakugo? The purple bald-headed pervert Mineta said from the observation room. He just got knocked off his feet and is reeling from pain, but nothing hit him. What's going on? Todoroki, who also saw the invisible impact, chimed in as well. It's Midoriya. He's beginning to fight back somehow, the icy hot student said. I don't understand, though. He was breaking down not long ago, as if he knew he couldn't win this. Now he appears to be turning the tables. Was his breakdown from earlier just a ruse to get a cheap shot on Bakugo? If that's the case, then I don't like it, Hiroshima added, pretending to lay around crying, waiting for a chance to sucker punch his opponent when his guard's down. What's that excuse if a man fights like that? No, it couldn't be. The Dark Shadow wielder began to share his thoughts. If he was truly faking it, he would have cut the act when Bakugo went on the offensive. But for whatever reason, he continued being distraught. There's something else going on. Back at the training ground, Midoriya was still in awe of the creature who clocked Kachan with a single blow. After looking at the entity a few seconds longer, it dawned on him that the creature looked like an upgraded version of his former companion. Wait, personal Jesus, is that you? You're alive? The creature turned to face Midoriya. Yes, I have evolved. The words from his stand gave the messy hair teen goosebumps. Wait, what the heck? Wait, you can talk? Since when could you do that? No, not talk. Telepathy. Telepathy? Midoriya questioned. As in you can talk, but only through thoughts? Oh my god. Does this mean I'm growing as a hero? And not just me. You are as well. But you're not the same personal Jesus I knew. You're different. Better. You're personal Jesus. Act 2! Insert furious JoJo pose here. That is your new name. Yes? In response, the stand asked his master to give it orders. Orders? Wait! There! The bomb! Midoriya pointed at the fake warhead. I need to get to that bomb over there. I don't know what you can do to help me, but can you help me get there? I can barely get up. Who is this boy talking to? Is he speaking to me? Aoyama thought to himself out of weirded out curiosity. The stand glared at the weapon he was referring to, and then back again to its master as it uttered, Understood, as the stand aided its master to his feet. Now, walk to the bomb, Midoriya. I will protect you. The forest-haired boy didn't even question the stand on how it'd protect him and began limping towards the weapon, but the belly-button laser quirk wasn't going to make his walk to the weapon that easy. Midoriya, stop! Aoyama ordered, posing as if he was going to fire his laser beam. I don't want to shoot you. I'd hate myself later for using my quirk on someone who's too injured to walk properly, but I don't want to lose this challenge. Please stop. No, Izuku. Keep moving. I will protect you. Personal Jesus ordered to Izuku. I'm warning you. Don't make me do this. Aoyama successfully pacified Midoriya into freezing, prompting his stand to ask why he stopped. He's gonna shoot me, dang it. Midoriya whispered to his stand. What are you planning? Why don't you just attack him? You still have that dust pellet shooter you got, right? Before the stand could respond, Kachan's angry voice filled the room as he got back to his feet. Deku! Tell me how you did that or you're dead! Bakugo yelled as he was in a rage-fueled dash towards Midoriya, but in a surprising move, Aoyama fired a warning shot of his laser in front of his teammate, prompting him to stop his charge and furiously ask what he's doing and why he didn't shoot Izuku. I'm not gonna sit around and watch you beat Midoriya to a pulp a second time, Aoyama said to his seething teammate. There's no point to it. We have him right where we want him. Let's just wrap him up with the capture tape and end this fight now. Fuck the capture tape. This nerd's getting eliminated the old old-fashioned way! Bakugo yelled as he used his quirk to shoot himself towards the lone hero team member. Izuku knew he couldn't dodge whatever his longtime rival was going to throw at him, and asked Act 2 to quickly protect him from Kacchan. That's when the stand dashed to its master's side and began spinning the ring plate on its shield, quickly locking it to a symbol, and bashed Kacchan in the gut with its shield the second he got within range, bringing his advance to a stop before Act 2 clocked him at the side of the head with its shield, once more knocking him to the ground. He was so angry he didn't even think about what hit him. He quickly got up for another attack, which was when Act 2 unleashed a new ability. The stand punched the back of its shield, which sent out a ringing sound from the shield, similar to the one you would hear from a gong. Bakugo took a direct hit by the shockwave from the stand. Seconds later, he stopped where he was and moved his hand in front of his face, looked around, and started heavily blinking his eyes. Hey! Hey! What's going on? I can't see! Everything's black! What the hell is this? Aoyama had no idea what the heck was going on and began to think he was surrounded by crazy people. In his eyes, Midoriya was muttering to himself for Jesus to help him in his fight or whatever. And Bakugo from out of nowhere was acting as blind as a bat. Even Midoriya didn't have a clue what was happening with Kacchan. Izuku knew personal Jesus could only alter emotions in people's psyche, but altering vision was a first. Then he had a thought. Since this was a newer version of his power, could it have evolved to the point where it can now tamper with other things in a person's head besides just emotions and mental states? All Might's voice interrupted the fight, saying that there was 2 minutes left to the challenge. At that point, Midoriya had to finish the challenge fast, but Aoyama again told Izuku to stop where he was as he took out his capture tape, prompting his stand to again tell him to ignore the French boy and run for the bomb, as it would protect him. Izuku didn't want to just wait around for the clock to run out. It took the stand by its word. Protect me. Act 2! Izuku moved for the bomb, provoking the French student to fire at Midoriya. Before the Green Egg could react, Personal Jesus blitzed to its master's side and used its shield to block Aoyama's laser, causing the beam to deflect in another direction, saving Midoriya from getting hit. Holy crap! What was that? What? How did you... What? Aoyama was in absolute uncertainty. He fired another laser at Midoriya, only for Act 2 to again deflect the laser a second time. The others in the observation room were blown away by what was going on. Did you guys just see that? Hagakure asked the others. Yeah, he deflected 2 of Aoyama's lasers. He didn't even lift a finger to do it, Hinata commented. That was most impressive, but how did he do it? I'm most curious what power that boy possesses. Now Yorozu spoke. Even All Might was amazed by what he was witnessing and began to understand that the solo hero team member had much more power under his belt than he first thought. Does kid seriously have a quirk all this time? All Might thought in his head. I never gave him a chance to show me it months ago. I thought he was just some kid that lost his marbles, but he had a power all along, and it's so freaking cool that he's able to do stuff like that without any effort. Holy stinking mega shit! Back in the building, Aoyama fired a 3rd laser at the boy, with Act 2 again deflecting it. At this point, he began to hunch over from using his quirk too much, as his excruciating tummy ache had immobilized him from the fight. With Aoyama unable to use his quirk and Bakugo blinded, Midoriya had unexpectedly turned the tables within a half a minute's time. Midoriya also noted that something odd happened with his stand. The shield its stand possessed was giving off a humming or vibrating type of sound, like the sound one would hear from tinnitus. The boy was going to ask why its shield was giving off that noise, but was interrupted by a loud, "Deku, you bastard!" from none other than Kacchan, who was still visionless. Have you seriously had a quirk all this time and have been hiding it from me all these years? What kind of bullshit move is that? What kind of power is this anyway? Midoriya thought about the situation at hand and how he had to strike while the iron was hot. He walked towards the bomb as he said to his longtime rival, Kacchan, I can't tell you that now. I feel like I'm gonna pass out in a few seconds. He slowly continued towards the bomb. His body felt heavy, like he would very soon pass out from his injuries. But there's something I can't tell you. Something I already said to you earlier. I'm not the same helpless kid I was back then. I changed. He stopped right in front of the weapon and turned around to face Kacchan. You can keep calling me Deku all you want, but remember this. From this point on, Deku is the name of a hero. Izuku touched the bomb with just 34 seconds to spare, signaling the nail-bitingly close victory for the hero team. Not long after, Personal Jesus Act 2 faded out as Midoriya finally passed out from his injuries. Bakugo's vision came back to him as he spotted Midoriya KO'd on the ground in front of the bomb and his tummy-ache-stricken teammate barely standing in the midst of the conflict. He was speechless. He didn't know what to say and was experiencing a roller coaster of emotions, having thoughts he never had before. Of loss, defeat, and discontent. Seconds later, All Might made the big announcement. The hero team wins! Izuku later woke up from his out-cold state. It took 10 seconds to piece together that he had passed out, was taken to the nurse's office, and that he was out for at least 2.5 hours, as shown by the clock on the wall in front of him. It's 3 o'clock? Dang, Midoriya softly said out loud. He then heard something roll his way, eventually catching sight of a short, elderly woman in an office chair, whom he remembered from the UA entrance exams that healed up Uraraka and a few others post-exam.
Oh, you're awake, young man. That's surprising, the school nurse said. With those injuries you got from your training, I thought you'd be out for at least another hour or two.
Midoriya looked down at his bandaged up body as he was still hurting from the fight a bit earlier. Yeah, I really got a thrashing today. But that's not all. For some reason, I'm really tired.
No surprise there, young man. You can thank my quirk for that, Recovery Girl said to the boy. Unfortunately, I can't heal you any further, otherwise I run the risk of killing you, and we don't want that now, do we? So just take it easy, get a good night's sleep. If you're still hurting tomorrow, come back and I'll patch up whatever pain is still inside you. Oh, and by the way, me and All Might told Aizawa what happened to you, so you shouldn't get too bad of an earful from him for missing class.
After laying in bed for several more minutes and struggling to get back up due to his bandages, he made his way back to the classroom. On the walk back, he thought about what happened during the training exercise. Mostly about his stand's transformation and the new ability it showcased where it made Bakugo go blind, along with the odd humming sound its stand gave off and what that was about. But Midoriya was tired and decided to leave these unanswered questions for another day. All he wanted to do was head back to his homeroom, grab his things, and go home to pass out on his bed. However, there was one thing on his mind he couldn't shake. I wonder how my quirk was able to change into a new form like that. Was it stress related with the situation I was in? Or did it go through some kind of natural maturity? Like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly? Well, since it has telepathy now, I could ask Act 2 about it later. I wonder if this is going to happen again in the future. Izuku opened the door to his homeroom. Inside, the other students glanced at the bandaged-up teen, with most of them giving him positive reactions. Hey, Midoriya's back! Hagakure said as the other students welcomed him back to class. Half of 1A gathered around Izuku to congratulate him on his victory today, which followed up with the students introducing themselves to the boy and asking him how he was feeling. Of all the students wanting to speak to him, Jiro was probably the most eager. Hey Midoriya, I heard from the others that you did amazing near the end of today's training, Jiro said, smiling at the banged up student. I'm sorry I couldn't back you up for it though. That blast Bakugo did really knock me on my butt. He really got us both from out of nowhere and, well, I'm sorry I couldn't do more to help you out, but I heard you did great. Heck yeah, he did, Mita said from behind her. He deflected Aoyama's laser beams like some badass action movie hero. It was so cool! While the students continued showering Izuku with praise for his performance, Bakugo was in the corner, listening to the praise the class was giving the green-eared boy. As the compliments and positive vibes kept coming, he was getting more irritated by the second, until he decided to leave school for the day. Whoa, hey, Bakugo, where you going, man? You leaving? Kirishima said as Katsuki was near the door. Yeah, I am, said opening the door. If I have to listen to you guys kiss Deku's cheap fighting ass any further, I'm gonna puke. So I'm leaving. The explosive teen marched down, leaving the others in the class wondering what his problem was. Midoriya thought for a second about what Kacchan said and felt he should clear the air about how this training today ended. He left the room after Bakugo and tried to start a talk with him. Kacchan, hold up a second, Izuku said as he caught him just outside the classroom. It took a second call out from Izuku for Kacchan to stop and turned his head with bitterness as he vindictively said, What? Look, I know you don't want to be around me right now, but I just want to let you know that what you said isn't true. I didn't cheese that fight earlier. As the conversation brewed, several of Class A students appeared from the doorway to eavesdrop on the conversation. Don't bullshit, Deku. You know for a fact that I would have won today if you weren't pretending to be a mentally insane crybaby, waiting for a chance to get a few cheap shots on me with that power you've been hiding from me. I wasn't pretending that, Midoriya ensured. All those feelings that I was going through at the time were real. Look, I know you're not gonna believe me when I say this, but during that moment in the fight, I was going to use my quirk on you, but for some reason, my quirk died when I tried using it on you. The students listening to the conversation were intrigued. Wait, did he say his quirk died? Was that why he was crying earlier? Mina asked the other students eavesdropping around her. She was hushed by Jira as the students listened. Well, actually, I thought it did. He came back to life after a minute or so. But when I felt like it did, I felt everything around me crash to the ground as I lost my chance at being the hero I wanted to be. In that time, I was back to being worthless. I'm sure you can understand. I just want you to know that I wasn't playing dirty. Bakugo showed signs that he was still bitter about the fight today. You expect me to believe that your power just died like some pet in the middle of a fight? Then it just so happened to come back to life moments later as I was thrashing you? Izuku assured him that really happened, as ridiculous as it sounded. Well, congratulations, Deku, he said sarcastically. To be honest, I don't care anymore that you have a quirk now. It just means that you went from being worthless to pathetic. Just remember this, Deku. Before you decided to throw those cheap shots at me, I was wiping the floor with you today. So don't you dare take your win today as a victory. The next time we go one-on-one, that BS tactic you used today won't work a second time. You hear me? I'm gonna be the next #1 hero, and you and the others in our class aren't gonna stop me. And when that happens and I become the greatest hero of all time, I'll be the one that wins in the end. Don't forget that. Bakugo walked off, leaving Midoriya idle to think about what Kachat said to him. Man, what's Bakugo's problem? Jiro asked the other students around her. Why is he so mean to him? It's a fated battle between rivals, Jiro, Uraraka said. Midoriya told me that he and Bakugo have a feud that goes all the way back to elementary school. I just hope it doesn't get too heated between them. Whether or not that'll happen was anyone's guess. Izuku, this was just another day in the life for Midoriya's bizarre hero adventure. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that We the Celestials has many other channels for your entertainment and viewing pleasures. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description, so feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. That's all for today's video, so goodbye and have a divine day.